Now, I've been sitting with this for a minute because part 3 isn't about evidence, it isn't about documents, it isn't about science. Part 3 is about something that happened in the courtroom that no document can explain. No document can explain it away. But before I get there, I need to close something. We opened in part 1 because there's a thread that the public started pulling the moment this documentary dropped that nobody in that courtroom pulled loudly enough. Dominic's family described who he was, his dreams, crypto, stocks, starting a clothing line, a 20-year-old building something, and I want to be clear, I respect that. Those were someone's dreams, and they mattered. But the public, just regular people watching, noticed something. A text message, someone reaching out to Mackenzie asking if they could still pick up from Dom. Now, I'm not telling you what that means. I'm not drawing that line. But I will tell you that investigators found at the scene 2 scales, not 1, 2. And the amounts recovered, according to people who were simply just watching, were not personal use quantities. Now, here's the question I keep returning to, and I need you to sit with it. If the narrative was built around who the drugs were found near, why wasn't equal energy spent? Or were they obligated? Because near and source are 2 completely different legal conversations, and only one of them was pursued. Now, this is what I want to talk about right here. I want to talk about what happened at the end in our justice system before a verdict is read. Families are given a moment, a final statement, a chance to speak to the person holding their loved one's fate in their hands. It's not a formality. For a mother, for a father, for a family, it may be the most important words they ever say. Every family in that courtroom was given that moment. Every voice was heard to completion until Mackenzie's mother stood up. And she spoke as she found her words, as she tried to say what only a mother can say. The one person in that room with the power, boom, to decide her daughter's future, interrupted her, put words in her mouth, left her flustered, turned her final statement into something she couldn't finish.
Much about the 2 dead people.
Dominic, okay, I'm asking you for leniency because this was a tragic accident that she does not remember. And Davion, he's a new friend. I'm so sorry.
What does that mean? His life is worthless?
No. Okay. God, no, not at all. They all loved each other. They all spent every day together. You know what I mean? I don't know
And
too much for him.
isn't that part of the problem, Mrs. Sherrill?
Sorry?
Isn't that part of the problem, that they all trusted each other? Isn't that part of...
It's not a problem at all. It was wonderful.
the problem of how they all...
I'm so sorry, guys.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
I love you.
While every other family spoke without interruption, while every other voice reached its own conclusion, only one mother was stopped mid-sentence by the person who was about to decide everything. Now, I want to ask you something, and I don't want you to answer with emotion. I want you to answer with logic, with the part of your brain that recognizes patterns before your feelings ever have a chance to catch up. This was a bench trial. There was no jury. The judge was the jury. The same person who interrupted that mother was the same person who read the verdict. Does that feel like a decision that will still be informed in that moment? Or does it feel like a room where the conclusion has already been written? And that last voice that might have changed something was the one that got cut off. I'm not a judge. I'm not an attorney. I'm not here to tell you what the verdict should have been. But I am someone who looked at this case piece by piece, detail by detail that was available, and found questions that don't have answers. Not opinions, not feelings, questions. A red bag and a courtroom description that don't match. A Life 360 app built to detect crashes at 25 miles per hour that recorded hard braking at 90. A physician who canceled a toxicology order inside the detection window. A blood sample collected days later when the compound had already left the body. A medical condition that interacts directly with what was allegedly consumed that can cause, without warning, without intent, without a single conscious decision, a foot to stiffen on a pedal and a car to stop being driven and start being launched. Real reasonable doubt doesn't come from opinion. It doesn't live in comment sections or on sides or in whose pain you feel more deeply. Real reasonable doubt lives in physiology, in science, in the space between what a body can do when it loses consciousness and what a courtroom decided. The body intended. A foot that locks is not a foot that chooses. A car that accelerates because consciousness left is not a car that was aimed.
There were no signs of braking anywhere, and officers would soon begin to discover why. They had evidence that, in their view, proves the crash was no accident at all.
So this is when they were going down Progress Drive, and then you know how there was like tire tracks before it, like on that side grass. So that's the sign.
That's when it hits the sign.
And then that's where she curved exactly right on.
Gotcha.
Missed those two rocks and went right into the sign, the side of it. She went right into that wall.
Right.
No, so you can see like the hard braking was right at the wall, and then her high speed
After the heartbreaking.
was,
Right.
yeah, 90 miles per hour.
It looks like the person in the front seat tried to turn the wheel because of the fact they were going to go straight into a wall.
And a test that was canceled before it could tell us which one was is a question that a verdict cannot answer. Now, 2 boys lost their lives. Say their names, Davion and Dominic. They mattered. Their families are carrying something no family should carry. And I hold that with everything in me. A young woman lost her freedom. Her mother couldn't finish her sentence. And she is carrying something no family should carry either. All of them deserved a process where every question was asked, where every test was run, where every piece of data was pulled from every server that had it, where a foot that may have locked because a body stopped being conscious was at least considered. I'm not asking you to choose a side. I'm asking you to be the kind of person who asks why the questions weren't asked, because that is not betraying anyone. That is not dismissing anyone's grief. That is not taking anything away from 2 boys who deserve to live. That is called accountability. And accountability doesn't have a side. It just has a standard. And that standard is simple. Wrong is wrong and right is right. And every family in that courtroom deserved a process built on that standard. From the very beginning, find the details. Question what doesn't connect. Verify what you think you know. And if something in these 3 parts made you stop, made you rewind, made you show somebody else, then you already know what I know. The full breakdown, every detail, every document, every question. Link in the bio. Because some stories deserve more than a verdict. They deserve the truth.